Okay, this is your 831 day 2 as needed video. So these were some things you were supposed to do yesterday, but if you weren't sure how to do them, here it is for you how I do it. Okay, so in 8-17, I'm skipping to part C. This one looks a little bit different than the example we did yesterday, but whatever we are dividing by, think of it as whatever's on the bottom of the fraction. That goes on, whoops, that doesn't make sense, on the outside of the generic rectangle. Okay, what we're starting with is what goes on the inside. This is the sum. This is just a piece of the product. So 6x cubed goes on the inside upper left hand corner, and I'm thinking backwards as to what multiplies with 3x to make 6x cubed. That's 2x squared. And then of course I need to multiply. 2x squared times 1 is 2x squared. Okay, and as soon as I put the 6x cubed in, I should probably check it off up here, showing that that's taken care of in this box. Okay, now I have 2x squareds, but I need, or I'm supposed to have 11x squared. So what do I add to 2 to make 11? 9. And again, I keep the same like terms here. Okay, now again, I'm going to think backwards. I'm going to check this off. I'm going to think backwards. What times 3x gives me 9x squared? Well, that's a 3x. Okay. 3x times 1 gives me 3x, but I'm supposed to have negative 12x's. So 3x minus 15x gives me negative 12x. Okay. And then one more time. I'm going to think backwards. What times 3x gives me this? It's negative 5x. Times 3x gives me negative 15x, and negative 5x times 1 is negative 5x. Okay, now here's what happened. I made a mistake, and this is a common thing. Here's x squared, here's x. This should just be a constant. So 5 times 3x makes 15, or negative 5 times 3x makes negative 15. Okay, and that's an easy way to check yourself. You should never have two of the same thing in a row. So I just went back and I fixed it. Now, I have negative 5. I'm supposed to have negative 1. So to get to negative 1, I have to add 4. This makes negative 1. So what's my solution, or what's my answer when I divide? It's 2x squared plus 3x minus 5. 4 is my remainder. So I put plus 4 over whatever it was I was dividing by. Okay, there's my answer for 117 part C. Now, 118 part C is my next one. Okay, same concept, it just looks a little bit different than the other two. Okay, whatever's on the inside of the division symbol is your sum. This is a part of the product or a factor. It goes on the side. Okay, so I take this first term and I put it on the inside. Okay, I think what times x makes x cubed. That's x squared. Then I multiply out. Okay, I should be switching up my colors a little bit. I'm going to do x squared here. Not that it really matters. This is negative 3x squared. Okay, but I'm supposed to have only one x squared. I have negative 3, so I need a positive 4. So what adds together to make just a 1? Okay, then thinking backwards, what times x makes 4x squared? That's a 4x. Multiply through, negative 12x. Okay, I'm supposed to have negative 14x. I have negative 12. I have to get rid of 2 more, go down by 2 more. Okay, when I multiply or figure out what this is, negative 2 times x gives me negative 2x. Multiply and I get 6. What am I supposed to have? A 3. Okay, 6 minus 3 is 3. So my answer, really it goes up top here. Okay, my answer is x squared plus 4x minus 2 plus, 2 ways you can write this. You can write plus a negative 3 over x minus 3. Okay, remember we can't cancel that out. Don't try it. Or we certainly could put minus and a plus there, or minus and nothing there. Okay, same answers. 118 part D is actually a little bit different. Okay, we're still going to start using the same process. X to the 5th goes right in here. Okay, x times what gives me x to the 5th? Well, that's x to the 4th. X to the 4th times -1 is negative x to the 4th. Okay, now how many x to the 4ths are in the original equation? Okay, there are none, there are 0. So if I have a -1, I better put a +1 so that when I add those together, I get a 0 pair. There's no x to the 4ths there. Okay, I put an x cubed here, minus x cubed. Negative x cubed plus what makes there are no x cubes there. Okay, keep going. I have x squared, negative x squared. I still don't have any x squareds. Okay, so you guys are seeing a pattern here. Okay, there still aren't any x's in that expression. So I need an x there, I get a 1, I get a -1, I have a -1, I need a -1, so I'm done. There's actually no remainder here, okay? No remainder means that this is a factor of the original expression, okay? So when I divide x to the 5th minus 1 by x minus 1, my solution, my answer, my quotient is x to the 4th plus x cubed plus x squared plus x plus 1, no remainder. Okay, if you really wanted to put 0 over x minus 1, you could, but it's like when you say 10 divided by 2 and you tell me 5, remainder 0. Okay, that doesn't make a lot of sense. That's not how we normally do it. Okay, last question is this 8.3.1, 8-113, going back to the original question in the lesson. And remember, the original question was, if we have this equation, how do we find all of the roots exactly? And if we go back and we remember, okay, if I plug it into my calculator, and I know for sure that it crosses at x equals 2. Remember, I can check on my table, it says 2, 0. I am sure it crosses at x equals 2. So I know x minus 2 is a factor. Okay, so hopefully that's going to make a little bit more sense to you now. We're going to put our x minus 2 along the side because it's a factor. Okay, I have x cubed, goes on the inside. When I divide, minus 2x squared. I'm supposed to have positive 2x squared. Okay, 4x, negative 8x. I'm supposed to have negative 7x. Okay. Okay, these match. There's no remainder, yay. No remainder means it's a factor. So, what I had from my original equation, f of x, if I rewrite this in factored form, I have x minus 2, and I have x squared plus 4x plus 1. If I use the zero product property, okay, then I can figure out what the roots are exactly. Now, we already knew that this one produced a root of 2. We knew that by looking at the graph. This, how do we solve this? It cannot factor any further, but what you guys love is the quadratic formula. 16 minus 4ac all over 2a, root 12 over 2. Root 12 is 3 times 4. So negative 4 plus or minus 2 root 3 over 2. And I'm going to distribute or divide the 2 by both sides. Both parts, I should say. It's not really 2 sides. Okay, so my roots are, and there are 3 of them, x equals 2, x equals negative 2 plus the square root of 3, and x equals negative 2 minus the square root of 3. And I don't remember exactly where these were, but I do know that this was exactly 2. Okay, the lower number here is going to be negative 2 minus square root of 3. This is negative 2 plus the square root of 3. And those are the exact roots.